Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Yeah, I'm switching up my situation a little bit. What is it? Studio G? It's been a lot of studios. Studio G. I'm trying to set some things. I'm trying to pull a Rev Melissa, put some things behind me that are iconic. Anyway, so today is Monday. This is the 20th day of December. Where did the year go? Where did the month go? This is the 61st episode of season 2 of the Be Your Own Hero show. Hero is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I'm a professional creative and the creator of what we're now calling the Hero Ministry Movement. And that's my effort to uplift and empower the unhoused community through several different means. So, quick disclaimers. I am not a personal trainer, nor am I a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence in all cases. Shout out to New Thought Media Network for giving me this platform to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero, and this season, my journey of becoming my own financial hero. Check me out here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 8:45 Central, 7:45 a.m. Mountain. And if this show provides any value, please feel free to like, comment, share, make a donation, etc. All that information is in the show notes below. All right, so welcome to the show. So typically I would call it Motivation Monday. I feel like today is going to be more like Meandering Monday. I've got a lot of different notes in different categories that I want to kind of clear out. So let me see if I can get to everything. Before I do that, shout out to the heroes in the chat. Shout out to is today Reverend Robert's birthday? Someone saying happy birthday, Robert. Is that Reverend Robert? If so, shout out to Reverend Robert. Happy birthday, sir. Thank you for creating the New Thought Media Network. That was a pandemic shift for those of you that don't know. So this is a new network, and it is a beacon of joy and light in so many different ways. If you have not checked out the other programming on the show, on the network, please do. Just go to ntmedia.org, ntmedia.org, and check out the other programming. All right, shout out to the other heroes in the chat. Shout out to Nan. Shout out to Tim with the cup of coffee. Shout out to Margareta. Thanks for watching live and commenting. I appreciate it. Okay, so where do we want to go first? There's so many things I want to talk about, but I try not to talk fast. I know when I feel like I have a lot to talk about, I talk fast. So, Hero Ministry Movement news briefly. Today is day 203. That means I've been running every day, at least a mile a day for 203 days in a row. It's been a lot of different things. Don't forget, it's been a lot of different things. It was a fitness challenge. It was a charity run. It is a run streak. It's been a lot of different things combined. So that leads me to the next thing. I just want to say to the nonprofits that have been asking, I have not forgot about you. The money's coming. My mom and I did another sit down in the living room last night with calculators and pens and paper. We're getting it together. I had to pull in some help. Again, this is my first time doing something like this. There were a couple of wrinkles that I didn't anticipate, but it's coming together. That's all I'm going to say about it. We got you. We got you. Okay. So that said, in terms of the run, my run streak is going really well. Today was, as I said, was day 203, and I'm a local legend in 4 different categories now. Apparently this app will just keep generating local legend crowns as long as I keep running the same route. So that's that. Moving on quickly, because again, I want to cover a few different things. Quick story regarding the Hoodies for the Homeless event that was created by Project Love Strong. The 4th annual was this month, December 4th. The past couple of days, I've run into people from the unhoused community out there in the world. And it's so fascinating to recognize them and have them recognize me. And I know I've talked about that before, but it still kind of surprises me. So driving around town, I saw Cereal Guy. I told you the story about the man who didn't want anything, any of the things that were on offer from any of the booths. He didn't want anything except cereal and to dance. Cereal and to dance. I saw him last night and I recognized him immediately. And so it was interesting not to see just a homeless person, just an unhoused person walking down the street, but to recognize him and have a story about him was a really new experience. Also, I was recognized by Beltman. You heard me tell the story about the guy who saw my hero hoodie and was like, do you know Superman? Very funny guy. And then he said he needed me to find Beltman so that he could have a belt for his pants. He saw me recently when I was driving by. He's like, hey, he recognized me. So it's really cool to be building a community with the unhoused community. So that said, moving on again. Let's see. Oh, really quickly, my morning pages. I didn't do much of a morning meditation today. I was kind of moving slow, but I wanted to mention this quote from The Science of Getting Rich. Sidebar, The Science of Getting Rich is the book that I'm reading aloud in my podcast, Get Rich 101. So please, if you haven't already, check out my podcast. I have several podcasts, but check out Get Rich 101 because it's really about changing your mindset about money. And so you can't and I can't read it, listen to it enough because our mindsets about money have been fixed since we were like 7 years old. Like our beliefs about money were fixed at a very early age. And then after that, it's been about trying to learn more about money and undo the learning that we got early in life. So that said, you can't listen to it enough. And I can't listen to it enough and I can't read it enough. So this morning I was reading The Science of Getting Rich, even though I've done a whole podcast about it, even though I've read it a number of times, I was reading it again this morning. And I just wanted to read this quick quote. Okay, here we go. The universe is a great living presence, always moving inherently towards more life and fuller functioning. The universe is a great living presence, always moving inherently towards more life and fuller functioning. Again, not the kind of quote you would expect from a book called The Science of Getting Rich, right? That's what I mean. It's really about expanding your mind. So this quote stands out to me because there's something for you to do. Built into this quote is something for you to do. If the universe is always seeking fuller life, then it's your job to give it the opportunity to express fuller life through you. You still got to do something. It's not automatic. The universe isn't just going to come jump through you to express more fully if you don't open yourself up to the opportunity for it to come through you, which means all the other things, which means morning practice, which means going in and being centered, which means knowing what you want. It means all those things. You've got to do all those things for you. You have to take care of you and get yourself centered and grounded and open so that the universe can flow through you. And then it will automatically flow through you. Oh, what does that remind me of? It reminds me of this quote about faith. Can I call it up? It's like, if you can believe enough in something, then the faith happens automatically. Like the faith rushes into the vacuum. So if you can figure out what you want and get yourself grounded enough, then the universe will rush into the vacuum to make your life more full. But if you're not open, then the universe can't get in to create more fullness of life. Okay, that's my only sidebar. Oh, let me move on. So speaking of the podcast, I looked this weekend because I posted a new episode. New episode of the podcast is up, Get Rich 101. What I'm doing is posting basically these shows that are about finance as season 2 of the Get Rich 101 podcast. So season 1 is me reading the book, The Science of Getting Rich. And season 2 is basically these conversations about the nuts and bolts of wealth and abundance. That said, I was shocked to discover that the Get Rich 101 podcast is now being streamed in 38 different countries. 38 countries. That means people in 38 different countries are listening to this podcast. And apparently they're finding some utility because it's continuing to spread and spread and spread, and people are enjoying it. So I am so grateful and surprised. And isn't that just an example of what I just said? Like when you create an avenue for the universe to express more fully through you, it will. So I created an avenue for the abundance of the universe to express, and it is expressing. So Go find out why people in 38 different countries are listening to the podcast. Go check it out. Okay, so now 9:55 local time, moving towards 10 o'clock. Just a reminder, the show is now a half hour. It starts at 9:45 a.m. Okay, few things I want to talk about. Here's the first thing. The first thing, I have to say this before I do the affirmation because I keep forgetting to announce this. I have decided to do a challenge. I've been inspired by Rev Melissa. She's always talking about doing the 30-day mental diet challenge. And people have been telling me for some time now that they're inspired by me. People that I know, but also people I don't know. And so I want to lean into that. So I've never done a challenge before, but this is what I want to do. I want to do a challenge that starts in January. I'm inviting people to join me, and I'm calling it a Fit 5 challenge. Fitness and finance, a Fit 5 challenge. And the call to action is three-pronged. Call to action number one is to walk a block every day, or the equivalent. But the idea is to move it exercise every day. If you can do more than that, by all means do more than that. But to do something every single day for 30 days. So it needs to be small and manageable. So let's just say walk a block every day. Invest $1 every day for 30 days and listen to the Get Rich 101 podcast for 1 minute a day. So three things a day, three single things a day. Walk, invest, listen. Walk, invest, listen. So let me know if you're interested. Drop something in the comments, DM me, email me, all that stuff. But that's what I think I want to do for the month of January. So I'm gauging interest. That's it. Let's move to the affirmation. And there's a couple things I want to talk about regarding that. So affirmation quickly. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. Ashe and amen. Hold that with you. So I talked about a few things on Friday that struck some nerves. So I want to zoom through those things. So first of all, I showed a picture of my friend Antoine, and there was a big reaction to him. This is, before and after. And someone asked me if he might be willing to talk about his transformation. I reached out to him. He said that he is. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be hearing from the man, the myth, the legend himself about his remarkable transformation. Okay. I also talked about saving and how often many of us, myself included, were taught to save, and then we use that savings to buy something. And what I've learned in this recent period of talking about wealth and abundance is the better way to do that is to save and then use the money to buy an asset and then let the asset pay for whatever the thing is that you want. So that resonated with some folks, and I wanted to double down on it. I was walking through Times Square not too long ago when I was in New York, and I saw this huge crowd of kids, like this massive collection of kids. I was like, I wonder what's going on. So I stopped enough to pay attention, because in New York, sometimes you just keep it moving. Like most of the time, honestly, you just keep it moving. Whatever's going on, it's like, that looks interesting, and you just keep going. But this time I stopped to pay attention, and I saw that they were gathered around a sneaker store. It was right in front of it. And so I pulled out my phone, I Googled it, and sure enough, there was a new sneaker dropping that day. And these kids were lined up to buy the sneaker. And the sneaker was about $200 a pair. The next thing I did was I looked on my phone again to see if the sneaker store was publicly traded. And it was. And the share price of the sneaker store cost less than the pair of sneakers. What? So it's just about mindset. Those kids, if they had been raised, if they had been taught to invest, could be buying stock at home, not even in line, buying stock at home in the sneaker company that's about to sell all these pairs of sneakers, as opposed to just buying a pair of sneakers. And then what? a year from them buying the sneakers will probably be in a corner somewhere because a new pair of sneakers will have come out. Fascinating shift in mindset. So again, holiday season is upon us. If there are young people in your orbit, I invite you to share with them this knowledge that it is infinitely more beneficial to invest their money in assets and let the assets pay for the liabilities. And again, that's a long-term play. It's a long-term mindset, but it's infinitely better, especially if they're young. I mean, imagine investing. Let's just stick with the same example. Imagine instead of going out to buy the sneakers, they invest in the company that makes the sneakers, and they just hold that stock for the next however many years, like high school, college, and then they will have amassed a chunk of money that they can then use to buy sneakers from the company. Basically, the company could buy them the sneakers that they want. Let's just use random names. Let's just say it's Foot Locker. They could have stock in Foot Locker, and the stock could appreciate so much that they can use the dividends or the capital gains from their Foot Locker stock to buy sneakers from Foot Locker. I mean, come on. Cool. Isn't that magical? Like, your money is buying the thing that you want. It's working for you on its own and also buying the thing that you want. It's a mind-blowing concept. That's why I'm doubling down on it, because, I mean, it changes the way you think about everything. It requires more patience. Yes. It requires more diligence. Yes. But it is entirely possible. You can do it in the stock market. You could also do it in real estate. And I'm trying not to sidebar too much, but there's one other story I want to tell. There's this woman who bought a condo and then sold it. So that's capital gains. Back to revenue streams, different revenue streams. So she sold it for more money than she paid for it. She used that to buy a duplex. The duplex, one side paid for the other while she was living on the other side. And then she moved out of the duplex. Both sides are now paying for the car payments that she has. So I went through that very quickly, but you get the point. You can use real estate or stock market or the stock market or any number of the other assets to pay for the things that you want, to pay for the things that depreciate in value. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make that clear. All right. So back to this broad idea of multiple streams of revenue. That seemed to resonate with people also. And it definitely resonated with me. I've been fascinated about how many different streams of revenue there are and how many of them are easily attainable. Because I think, at least for me, when I first heard 7 streams of income, once again, the average billionaire has 7 streams of income. I'm thinking 7 even streams of income. But no, you've got different levels of income, and some of them are active and some of them are passive. But the idea is, if you only have earned income from your job and then you lose that earned income for whatever reason, you've got these other 6 streams of income that you can immediately shift your attention to. I mean, maybe you rail at the moon about losing your job, but still you've got these other streams of income you can focus your attention on. Or if you retire, you've got these other streams of income you can focus your attention on. The idea is to never only have one stream of income. By the way, I just discovered in my research of the streams of income that earned income is the most heavily taxed, right? And that makes total sense. I just hadn't thought about it. So earned income, wages, is the most heavily taxed of the income streams, which is another reason why you want to have multiple revenue streams. Okay, so the one that I've been talking about the most is intellectual property. As an author, this appeals to me because intellectual property is essentially royalties. So I also checked into this over the weekend, and yes, I got a royalty check that I hadn't even noticed from my previous books. It's just out there working. I have, for those of you that don't know, I have maybe 2 or 3 books maybe 4 books on Amazon. And so, yeah, somebody buys a book, the royalty trickles out. It's automatic. It happens in the background. So the example I used last week was Amanda Gorman. She did a spoken word piece at the inauguration, the presidential inauguration. And her books that had already been on Amazon for a while shot to the top of the Amazon list because people were Googling her. And so the point is, you never know what might happen in your life. You might leave the house today and get interviewed by anybody. And then people start Googling you, and they might find that you have a book on Amazon, and it could go to the top of the bestseller list. So the point is, we can all create a book. We can all create a book and put it on Amazon. And Nan asked if, how do we create the ISBN? So it's pretty automated now. There are many different print-on-demand services, meaning that you don't have a box of books in the living room like you used to. The print-on-demand means that somebody in Idaho orders your book. One book is printed for that customer in Idaho and shipped to that one customer. Anyway, the companies that do print-on-demand automatically generate the ISBN for you. So you would Google print-on-demand book companies. The biggest, of course, is Amazon. They've got their own system, like it's a subset of Amazon. It's called KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. And they will generate the ISBN for you if you want a paperback book. But don't forget, you can also create a digital book, like an ebook. And then the advantage of that is there's no physical imprint. Like you don't have to, the customer doesn't have to wait for something to be shipped. They can order the book at 10:01 and have it at 10:02. It's immediate. And they can read it on any of their devices, their phone, their tablet, any of their devices. And for you, it's more scalable. So again, you never know what's going to happen. So imagine you end up giving some speech somewhere and the speech goes viral, right? And people are looking up your book. People could immediately download your book right then. And what I mean by scalable is, like, there's nothing to prevent a large number of people from buying your book at once. Like, you don't have to worry about production costs or shipping or anything like that. You could, and you don't have to worry about selling out too. There's not a certain number of books that can be sold out and you have to print more. So it's so much easier than it was when I first became an author. Like, I've actually watched people purchase my book in front of me, and it still blows my mind. They purchase it, download it, start reading it while we're talking. And so, yeah, again, any of us can create a book, especially those of us that like to observe and write things down. We can easily look at the things that we've written down and extract a theme and start creating a book and upload it ourselves, create a cover, upload it ourselves, and have a book within half an hour. So that said, I am challenging myself to create my next book. And also, because, I'm an artist, I'm a little, like most artists, I'm a little weird about my content. So the books that I have out that are available on Amazon, I feel like don't really represent the me that is now. Books are very much like photographs. Like, they're a snapshot of where the author was in the time that they created the book. So I feel like I want to create something that is more apropos to this whole doing be your own hero movement. But the point is, there is yet another revenue stream that any of us could take advantage of. And what if that was something that we were taught when we were young? Not only invest, but also create multiple revenue streams. Because, that would have been a game changer. Okay, so this obviously is my bailiwick. I know lots about artistry, about intellectual property, about publishing, about just the world of intellectual property. My alarm is telling me to wrap it up. So if you have questions about that, I can answer those questions easily. So just drop them in the chat. Okay. Oh, and all that said, I want to kind of close that section by reminding you of the quote. Someone asked me to repeat this. So the habits of money of people. Poor people spend. The middle class saves, but the wealthy invests. And so you don't have to think about it in terms of poor, middle class, wealthy. Just think about it in terms of where you want to be. Like, if you're spending and saving, you need to shift more towards investing. And Warren Buffett has said many things that are quotable, but here's one. He said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, then you will work until you die. That is a very grim quote, but hopefully it inspires you to invest, to make investing a priority. And we've talked a lot about investing in the stock market and how to do that relatively simply by using these bricks that exist within the stock market. Well, I'm calling them bricks. So long-term money brick, dividend income brick, growth stock brick. Like, there are multiple segments within the stock market that are relatively easy to understand and relatively easy to invest in. So there's that. And then also, I really like talking about these multiple streams of revenue. So I think I'm going to keep talking about those. Yeah, because what's shocking to me is how easy it is to activate some of these revenue streams. I mean, the fact that I already have several of them was a pretty good shot, right? The fact that I already have royalty income. And so theoretically, I could spend all this week promoting my books that are already on Amazon. And theoretically, I could get some book sales and have some income just happen automatically because that's already been set up. So that's relatively passive. Like, it took some work to create the books and get them up on Amazon, but once they're up, it's just about promotion and marketing and whatever might happen in your life that might draw people's attention to the fact that you have books. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about that. All right, so there's one thing I just wanted to close the loop on that has been kind of niggling. So the stock that is now called Block, what did they used to call themselves? That was Square. Square now calls itself Block. And the reason that stock is down is because of buy now, pay later. They have built in some buy now, pay later things into their infrastructure. So basically, you could buy something with Square, and Square itself will give you the option to pay over time, like layaway, but you already get the item. Well, what's been happening is people have been getting the item, but only making 50% of the payments. And so companies have been losing money because the product is now gone, but they only got partial money for the product. So because of that, Block, formerly Square, is down. That said, Block has invested heavily into the infrastructure of the metaverse, cryptocurrency, etc. So I still feel like it is an exceptional get, especially because it's down. To be able to get it while it's down, because I believe that it'll go back up. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence. But the fact that they've changed their name to Block, indicating the blockchain, is an indication of where they intend to go. And the blockchain is technology that is onboarding, mainstreaming very quickly. And it's important to get involved before it finishes mainstream. Okay, so I'm out of time. Coming up now is prayer time. And then after that is Sit with Rev Melissa. I almost got to everything that I wanted to talk about. Almost got to everything I wanted to talk about. So I've got a couple of things that I will roll over to tomorrow. But until then, keep doing, be a hero, be your own hero, and remember that now is better than perfect. I will see you on Sit with Rev Melissa, and then I'll see you here for the Be Your Own Hero show tomorrow. All right.